Hello YouTube, today we're discussing the PewDiePie training program that Felix discussed on his channel recently. I think it can be interesting to decorticate his approach to training because he's a novice and he's just getting started, to see the type of things that people like him jump on to get jacked and to get results, because it gives a good idea of the type of programs that appeal to noobs, right? So a lot of media have published about his transformation. He's put on a lot of muscle. That being said, he's of course still, do you even lift? He's still very skinny, but there's nothing wrong with that. He's just getting started, and he's also a very tall, very lanky dude. So it's going to take a while for him to fill his frame and to actually look impressive without a shirt. But of course, for normies, he looks like a Greek god. It's interesting to see the impact that someone like him could have on his followers, because by sharing his program and by sharing his newfound love for fitness, he can encourage some of them to actually get serious and get in shape, which is a very good thing. I hope he uses his influence to do so. I hope he doesn't fall for the easy trap of selling workout programs, because if he wanted, he could make a fortune out of it. Not like he needs the money, he's already rich. So I'm going to base my review on both his words, so I'm going to just directly quote Felix, and I'm going also to relate it to the program that he's actually following. Because by his words, he says that he does push exercise on Monday with a lot of chest and shoulders. On Tuesdays, he does legs, squats and deadlifts. On Wednesday, he does pulls. On Thursdays, he does legs. And on Friday, he does push and pull. But the thing is, he has a home gym with only dumbbells and a bench, which means that he's actually running the dumbbell only workout 5-day dumbbell workout split that is going to be included in the description. So first off, right off the bat, before I discuss the program, dumbbell only workouts are not as efficient as workouts that actually include barbells. Why? Barbells stack up more weight. You can actually progress on the weight. If you deadlift dumbbells, you understand that you're going to be limited extremely quickly, because your ability to move weights from the floor is going to exceed the 100-pound dumbbells super fast in your training. It also, the problem is that moving a dumbbell is not like moving a barbell. Those are different movement patterns. For squats, for example, doing goblet squats or doing squats with weights in your hands is not the same as doing squats with the bar on your back. You're not going to get the same results. And I do believe that eventually moving to barbell movements is important if you want your physique to keep progressing. That being said, I personally, when I started training, was only training with dumbbells. And I did so for years and years. So when you're a novice, doing dumbbells only is not a problem. Just understand that you could also be doing barbell movements, so that you start ingraining the movement patterns and you become more proficient at them, so that you can progress better in the future. Now that that's said, let's first talk about what Felix says he does, right? Because he doesn't go into too much details. He doesn't talk about volume or intensity. He doesn't talk about specific exercises or sets. He just says on Monday, he does push, he does chest, and he does shoulders. Okay, so that would be, if I'm just following his words, a split that is that has a high synergy, because when you work your chest, you work your shoulders, there's no way around it. So that's good, and it's a good way to open the week, because Monday is International Chest Day, and it's always best to not start with something too heavy like a lower day. On Tuesdays, he says that he does squats and deadlifts. He does them with dumbbells, so that's not as taxing. I do advise people who do them with barbells to not do that, because you are doing two exercises that you want to progress on that are going to be too taxing to be done one back to back, because the intensity is going to fry you. So don't do that. On Wednesday, he just says he does pull. I don't have much indication on that. I would say though that if you do deadlifts on Tuesday and then you fatigue your lumbar spine and your posterior chain, on Wednesday, if you start doing some rows or things like this, you're going to be pre-fatigued. But if on Wednesday you do vertical pulls, especially pull-ups, that's going to be a very good thing, because you're going to recruit muscles that are not super involved in pulls, like the lats, and it's going to also elongate the spine, and it's going to deload the sacrum, so it's going to actually also be beneficial for the health of your back. Thursday, he does legs again, which means that he only had 2 days to recover from the heavy squat and deadlifts he does, but because he does dumbbells, it's easier to recover from because he doesn't use as much weight and there is not as much actual loading. Friday, he does a mix of push and pull. Okay, so on that split, I see that he has 2 upper body days and 3 lower body days. I think that as a novice, you should do the opposite most of the time, just because you would want the lower body days to be a little bit heavier. And most lifters end up realizing that they end up having a discrepancy between lower and upper body, and their lower body dominates. I'm not talking about people who skip legs, I'm talking about people who are actually serious about bodybuilding. And because the strength potential of the lower body and the upper back is so vast, it's much easier to develop it in a sense for most people. But, and there's a but, because Felix is tall, he also most likely has long frog legs, and those are much harder to fill out than people who have regular proportions. So for someone like him, this is actually not a bad thing, especially when you consider that he doesn't have the ability to lift heavy weights. So doing legs 3 times a week is not super stupid. It's actually quite smart. And before we move on to the program, I must say too that apparently he didn't want to start sharing his program too fast because he wanted to gain experience before, and I personally appreciate that. I do believe that if you start sharing with people, you should have the experience and you should know what you're talking about. And since he has millions of followers, in reality, if he wanted, he could just speak nonsense. And because the people who follow him are normies and noobs, they would just buy anything he says. So I respect that integrity of his. As far as the rest, he also says that body and soul are deeply connected and he wanted them to match. And I think that this is key, and this shows to me that there's a strong chance Felix is going to stick to it and become jacked out of his mind, because you need to have that type of dedication to be able to make it and to be able to build the body that you want. You need to build a body that is going to match your soul, right? And you're going to also find that because your soul keeps evolving, your body has to evolve with it. A true warrior has both spirit and body. They go hand in hand. You need the both of them to be very strong. So now that the more generalist description of the program goes, I'm going to start referring to the dumbbell only workout, 5-day dumbbell workout split that is in the description again, because essentially that's what Felix is doing, and most likely he's following a split that is quite similar to the one I'm going to present to you guys. So they say in the split that it's for intermediates, which is already contradictory because I don't see why intermediate you would use dumbbell only. And let me say also that the most likely he does dumbbell only because he doesn't have a rack and a barbell, and that's totally fine. The duration of the program is 12 weeks, but that's irrelevant because bodybuilding doesn't have blocks. It's 5 days per week, so that's what he's doing. 5 days per week, which this is a novice program. 5 days per week is a little bit high, but because it's with dumbbells, it's okay because the tonnage is not going to be as high. And they clearly said that the main goal is to build muscle. Okay. And there are other programs. There's the 3-day full body dumbbell only workout, the 4-day upper lower dumbbell only workout. Apparently you're supposed to run these 2 before you run this one. If you guys are interested, I can also review these ones. Just let me know in the comments. Okay. So, as far as the program goes, what I think about it. Day 1, chest, shoulders, and triceps. Chest, shoulders, and triceps as a split is quite excellent. It's an excellent split, especially if you center it around the compound movement like the dips or the bench or the weighted push-ups. You start with dumbbell bench press, so you start with a compound movement, and you do 5 sets of 8 to 10 reps. It's an evolving rep range. As far as evolving rep ranges go, this one is not terrible. I do think that the range of evolution is a little bit too small. 8 to 12 would be better. And lower it down to 4 sets would also be better. After that, inclined dumbbell bench press. 4 sets of 8 to 10. Same logic as with the dumbbell bench press. Dumbbell floor press. 3 sets of 8 to 12. Here I have an issue because it's too much. There's no need to have that many variation of the dumbbell bench press, especially on the same day, back to back to back. It's just going to kill your ability to actually perform on the lift. Pick one main lift for strength work and then do one variation of it that is going to be done with more reps, more volume, and you can focus on that and then move on. So I would advise, instead of doing that, to do dumbbell bench press for 4 sets, and you're going to do them within a rep range of 4 to 8 reps so that you can push more heavy weight and you can actually progress on it. And after that, you're going to include a rotation of either inclined dumbbell bench press or dumbbell floor press. They both work similar portions of the lift. They put the accent on different muscles, and the rotation is going to keep it fresh. Both will be done with 4 sets of 8 to 12. After that, you do standing dumbbell press, 4 sets of 8 to 12. I like that. It's more accent on the shoulder. It's done standing up, which I think is more athletic and is going to work your core more than just sitting doing that. And I would just advise people to do it on the 8 to 12 rep range because of the reasons I stated before. After that, dumbbell lateral raises, 3 sets of 8 to 12. Love that rep range. And then dumbbell tricep kickback, 3 sets of 8 to 12, good rep range as well. The tricep kickbacks, I'm not a super fan of them, so I'm going to replace them by behind the head tricep extensions for that long head work. Because on that day, you already do so much press that the lateral and medial head of the tricep already get enough love. So I would highly advise people to start with dumbbell bench press as strength work, then do either incline or floor press dumbbell press, and then you do your standing dumbbell press, and then you do a superset of lateral raises and behind the head tricep extensions, because the sets match. So that's perfect, and I think the day would be much better done like this. You notice that I'm not trying to replace the dumbbell bench press with the barbell bench press. This is explicitly a dumbbell only program, so we're going to stick with that appellation. Day 2, legs and core dumbbell workout. You start with dumbbell goblet squat. Okay, I understand that with dumbbells, you don't have many options for proper squats. I also understand that people don't quite like doing squats with dumbbell in each end because it reduces the range of motion. So that's good. He says 4 sets of 8 to 10. Okay, I'm not against that. And in this case, I'm going to say that that's actually good. I would, again, tell people to do from 8 to 12 to have more flexibility, but I'm not going to push that rep range down to have you do that in strength work because it is lower body lifts, and it's a lift that you can allow yourself to go in higher rep ranges with, because the goblet squat is going to challenge your ability to stay upright and your thoracic extension. So going too low might have a detrimental effect on your ability to target the right muscles. After that, you do stiff leg deadlifts, 4 sets of 8 to 10. Same thing, love the rep range. 8 to 12 would be better. I'm not going to keep repeating that. If it's 8 to 10, I'm always going to say do 8 to 12. After that, you do dumbbell rear lunge, 4 sets of 8 to 10 for each leg. Then frog squats, 3 sets of 8 to 12. Okay, here, same logic as with the press. This becomes too much. It's better to focus on progression on the goblet squat and the stiff leg deadlift instead of doing lunges and frog squat afterwards. So what I would advise is include these in a rotation. Do 4 sets of lunges or frog squats and alternate the 2 of them each week, or stick with one for a few weeks and so that you progress, and then you switch it. That's going to keep the program fresh, and it's going to reduce the volume so that you can focus on the other lifts and progress on them. Because you don't want to be sandbagging yourself to be able to get through the program. After that, there are dumbbell calf raises, 4 sets of 20, excellent rep range and set selection for the calf raises, I like that. Weighted crunch, 3 sets of 20, I don't dislike that. And then side planks, 3 sets of 20, I don't dislike that either. I would say that the goblet squats and the stiff leg deadlifts should be done independently with no superset as strength work. You can superset the lunges or the frog squats with the calf raises because they match the set. Again, they're going to be 4 sets. And the weighted crunch and the side planks can be superset too for a nice burn in the core. Day 3, back and biceps. Back and biceps, I said in past videos, it's not high synergy, it's not super high synergy, but it's not absolutely terrible either. You start with dumbbell bent over rows. Here, I understand why they didn't start with deadlift, because the day before already has you doing stiff leg deadlift. It sort of pains my heart when I see a back and biceps day and it doesn't start with deadlift, but I get it. So okay, so be it. I'm not going to, again, same thing, I'm not changing the dumbbell only movements, and I'm not going to tinkle with the frequency too much, because it's a template, and if I change the template, might as well just create a new workout. So I'm sticking with that frequency. I'm just manipulating the volume and intensity to make it better. Start with dumbbell bent over rows, 4 sets of 8 to 12. Same logic as with the goblet squat and the leg deadlift. I'm not going to push that into the strength work rep range, because I think that if your form suffers, you're just going to end up doing rows that don't target the back. And novices and intermediates have a tough time understanding how to stretch the back and use the muscle of the back to pull, and not the muscle of the arms. So staying with low weight and higher reps is good. After that, tripod dumbbell row, I have no idea what that is. I think it's croc rows, in which case good. It's just a dumbbell row, but with that grip, I think. I would say, and I don't usually do that, but I would, in this case, superset them. Because you're going to find that doing rows like this or rows like this, the muscles that are involved are still at the upper back, but you're going to find that you don't lose as much strength as you would think supersetting them, and it's going to save you time. The only thing that could be a potential hindrance is your grip. After that, dumbbell pullovers, 3 sets of 8 to 12. Excellent. I love that the program involves pullovers. Pullovers are godlike for the lats. After that, reverse grip dumbbell row. So it's a supinated grip. Scratch that. No supinated rows. Too dangerous for the bicep. I know some people like them, but most of the people that I know who like them are advanced and they understand the body. They understand its limitations and they know what not to do. This is most likely going to be picked up by novices who want to train with dumbbell only at home. This is not a good movement, so just scratched. And that way they can focus on the other type of rows. Dumbbell bicep curls follow, 3 sets of 10 to 15 with dumbbell arm curls, 3 sets of 10 to 15. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to make a little adjustment to what I said before. We're going to push the sets on the bicep curls and the arm curls. 10 to 15 is an excellent rep range, I quite like it. But it's an evolving rep range that matches much better with 3 sets. If you want to push to 4 sets, I would advise people to go to 3 sets matches extremely well with 10 to 15, my bad. No, never mind, okay. Sorry, 3 sets, 3 sets with 10 to 15 is not the best because it doesn't push progression that much. If you stick to 3 sets, do 12 to 15. If you want to go up to 4 sets, do 10 to 15. We're going to go up to that because we're going to do 4 sets. You're going to start with dumbbell bent over rows. You're going to superset bicep curls with them. Then you're going to do tripod dumbbell rows on the other sets, and you're going to superset the dumbbell hammer curls with them. And you're going to finish with the dumbbell pullovers, and you can do a nice little trick where you're going to do your pullovers, and then you're going to get up with the dumbbell, and you're going to do curls with the dumbbell. The weight you're going to be using for the pullover should be something you're able to handle on the curl with the two hands. So this is a day where we're going to have 3 supersets in a row, and it's going to pump your biceps, forearms, and your upper back like crazy. And I like the rep ranges because it represents a lot of volume for the upper back, and the upper back can take a lot of punishment. After that, day 4, legs and core dumbbell workout. The dumbbell squat is done with 4 sets of 8 to 10. So dumbbell squat, I think, is what I said. We squat with the weights in your hands. You end up quickly realizing that in reality what you do with a dumbbell squat is sort of a reverse dumbbell deadlift in a sense. I used to do dumbbell squats, so I'm not going to say they are bad, but they're not the best. They are inferior to barbell squats and goblet squats in my opinion because of the range of motion. But they're not awful. So I'm keeping them. I like the rep range. Again, 8 to 12. Dumbbell deadlifts afterwards, 4 sets, 8 to 12. Usually when you show me deadlifts and squats on the same day, I say, no way, Jose. But in this case, I don't care because it's dumbbells. It doesn't represent enough tonnage and actual loading to be dangerous or to be detrimental. So we'll keep them on the same day. Do keep in mind that if you want to push progression on these, you might have to split it, but I'll show you how to do it afterwards. After that, you do dumbbell split squats, 3 sets of 8 to 10. I like the rep range. Hip thrusts, 4 sets of 10 to 15, that's good. And then calf raises, side bends, and plank. Let me show you how I would split it right now. You start with your squats, and you're going to superset the squat with the hip thrust. Because I find that dumbbell squats don't hit the hammies and the glutes as much. After that, you're going to be doing your you're going to be doing your calf raises. And the calf raises, you can just not superset them. You take your 4 sets of 20 and you take the time to recover from it. Afterwards, you're going to be doing your dumbbell deadlift supersetted with the dumbbell split squats. You're going to have to push the sets of the split squat into to 4, but that doesn't change much, it's fine, because it's a low impact movement. And then you finish up with your dumbbell side bends and your plank. Most likely you're going to superset them both, and you're going to do the plank to the front because you're already working the obliques with the side bends. I must say that dumbbell side bends are really not the best. I know a ton of novices love doing them, but I would advise people do knee raises to the side instead. I'm not going to take them out of the program, but just understand that if you feel nothing from them, then stop doing them. And the last day is a complete upper body dumbbell workout. So the idea behind that, just to explain the philosophy behind all of that, is you start with a quite hefty shoulder, triceps, and dumbbell workout. You still get some forearm gains and some bicep gains with the back and biceps day, which is quite excellent. But the middle of the week is occupied by lower body lifts. The issue with that is you're doing so much of that by the time the legs workout roll around with the squat and the deadlift, you might be extremely tired. So I would advise, because this is a 5-day split, to start with day 1 and day 2. Take a day off after day 2, so that's 3. We are 3 days in now. 1, 2 rest day. You do day 3 back and biceps on day 4, right? After that, you take a break, so that's 5 days occupied. On the 6th day, you do the legs, and on the 7th day, you do the complete upper body workout, which after that, you take a rest day, and then you repeat the cycle. So in reality, that 5-day split should exist within an 8 days window. If you have the ability to do the legs, the day 2 legs, followed by the back and biceps day, that's very doable. We're going to talk about it again. You do day 1, day 2, day 3, rest day, legs, rest day on day 6, and then you do the complete upper body workout. So in that case, the 5-day split exists within a 7-day windows. It's going to completely depend on your recovery. I don't advise doing those 5 days in a row. It's too much volume. You're going to tire yourself too much. You're not going to recover from it. Okay, so now that's being said, and I explained the reason why the split is made like this and how to make it more optimal. Let's talk about day 5, the complete upper body dumbbell workout. You start with, so it's basically a finisher for your upper body, right? Which also means that because day 1 is also upper body, you're going to have to give yourself some rest in between the two. So you start with 1 arm dumbbell rows, and you do 4 sets of 8 to 10, good. Then dumbbell Arnold press, so more chest and triceps, I suppose, 4 sets of 8 to 10. Incline dumbbell bench press, again, 4 sets of 8 to 12. Chest supported dumbbell rows, 3 sets of 8 to 12. Dumbbell pinwheel curl, 2 sets of 8 to 12. I would boost that and do 4 sets. Because you really, besides the back and biceps day, you really don't get that much direct forearm work. And I understand a lot of people think novices can just hold onto things and get bigger forearms, but you won't suffer from doing more pinwheel curls that are highly underrated. So 4 sets. And then overhead dumbbell tricep extensions, finally some long head of the tricep work, 3 sets of 8 to 12, I would say do 4 sets. And then dumbbell shrugs, 3 sets of 12 to 15, I would say 4 sets of 15 to 20. Because there's not a lot of trap work, there's a lot of rows, but you can push the shrugs, your traps are not going to be fried from that. So I say that that's pretty much all there is to it. On that last day, I would superset the dumbbell rows with the Arnold press. I would superset the dumbbell bench press with the chest superset rows. And I would superset the pinwheel curl with the dumbbell tricep extensions, which also means that you have to have 4 sets of tricep extensions. But that's a solid last day. Since the number of sets doesn't match, the shrugs are sort of standing alone. You can either superset them with more calf work or more ab work. It's up to you. But as far as the program goes, I think you get a lot of direct arm work. The upper back gets a lot of love, the lower back as well. The legs are going to be nice and developed. The calves get actually some work, the abs as well. The long head, but it's sort of a routine at this point. The long head doesn't get as much love as it should, but I corrected it in my video. So that's pretty much all I would do. I think the program is not bad. For a dumbbell only program, it's actually a good program. I have a lot of, it gives me a lot of positive vibes from what I see. So I think that, and as I said before, the day 5, I wouldn't change anything. I would just run the supersets like I presented it, and I would change the sets. So I highly doubt PewDiePie is ever going to watch this. But if you're a fan of PewDiePie and you watched it and you want to train like your hero, first try to do the 3 days a week, dumbbell only, then the 4 days, and then the 5 days. If you do the 5 days, please do it the way I presented it. I think I made it much better. So that's going to be it for the video. Thank you for watching. Any comments you would want to post, you're welcome. Have a good day.